Well, we'll get into the dailies that we
Yes.
have.
Right, so on the front page of the Daily Graphic, we have new ministers face high expectations, 18 out. December 7 opportunity to rebuild nation, and that's by the NDC. Supplement on Ghana Hotels Association Awards. And behind the Daily Graphic, we have tensions flare up at protest for football reforms.
All right. The Ghanaian Times has these headlines. We have President fires 23 ministers in major shakeup. 13 ministers, 10 deputies go home, 8 new ministers, 11 deputies, 6 ministers of state appointed. Now, Ghana marks 20 years of HIV antiretroviral treatment. Dr. Baumia, responsible for current economic hardships. This is coming from the NDC. And on the back page, again, that story about the protest against the state of Ghana football is highlighted here. And the NISAC story, the Inter-Schools Championship. Actually, this one is interesting. Yeah, there's actually an Inter-Schools Championship that is international. So we have 56 schools confirm participation in inaugural Inter-Schools Athletics Championship. And then the story here is referring to various competitions between Ghana and Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire and so on. And so you can go on and read that as well.
Right. So on the front page of the New Finder, Ghana spends $3 million at AFCON 2023. And that's by the minister. Reshuffle has come too late, and that's by the minority. Hundreds of soccer enthusiasts demonstrate to demand reform in Ghana football. And the big one here is the big shakeup. And obviously that has to do with the, ministerial shuffle yesterday.
Yeah. Well, that's actually making the headlines on a lot of papers. And
online everywhere.
Daily Guide has this one here. It says, Nana flies out after Val's Day reshuffle. Interesting one. He doesn't want to be asked a lot of questions, so,
Well, that's a good one. That's a nice Valentine's gift, though.
Nice present.
Yeah.
MPP commends Akufo-Addo fourth ministerial shakeup. We have Lands Ministry details Baumia's small-scale mining policy, and a Besim killer trial begins March 14th. Okay. That's what we have for the Daily Guide.
All right, on the front page of the Chronicle. Beware, Accra Commando promoted to Commando General. Seriam Alassane to keep Ghana clean, and KON to construct houses for Ghanaians, and that's Kojo Upon Nkrumah.
Yeah, he's now going to the Ministry of
And
Works and
Ofori-Atta
Housing.
to be appointed presidential advisor on economy. Soccer lovers spew out venom on GFA. And the scripture reading for today is from Daniel 3:30. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. And I'm sure that has to do with the promotions and the reshuffles.
So this the one I find fascinating is Ofori-Atta to be appointed presidential advisor on economy. So the interesting thing is that he as presidential advisor is going to be seated at the Jubilee House, and every decision that will come from finance ministry that needs to pass through Jubilee House, he will be vetting it. So it's a very interesting, state of affairs. Well, Ofori-Atta now international investment envoy, right there, and this is on the Daybreak. Direct flight from Ghana to China in the offing. This is the ambassador speaking. Ofori-Atta's boy chop hot over bogus job. And very, very unfortunate and sad story here. Oman FM's KK passes away at work. That happened yesterday. Very unfortunate.
Right.
He was revered, pretty much in that space as a broadcaster and everything, and a journalist. And our condolences to his family and the entire Net 2 and Oman FM family as well.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we have some online stories we want to do. Let's go to citynewsroom.com, We have Akufo-Addo's removal of Ofori-Atta, a mere window dressing. This is coming from Isaac Adongo. There are so many stories, and a lot of them are revolving around the reshuffle, as would be expected. Appointment as Greater Accra Minister, exciting and humbling. This is coming from Titus Glover. NSS directs personnel to validate data for processing of allowances. We also have our focus on rural housing and Saglemi project upon Nkrumah. MPP applauds Akufo-Addo for ministerial reshuffle. Yeah,
and we have some other stories here. New ministers would deliver despite timing, and that's by Justin Kodwa Frimpong. Replacing Ofori-Atta with Amin Adam is too late. It won't yield needed results. And that's by Joe Jackson. Justin Kodwa Frimpong justifies Akufo-Addo ministerial reshuffle. Parliament to probe debt owed cocoa roads contractors. Akufo-Addo's neglect of Western North in ministerial reshuffle unconstitutional, and that's by Samson Ahi. Chinese prisoner did not escape during treatment at Korle Bu, and I'm sure that's from the management of Korle Bu. We spent $3 million on AFCON 2023, and that's the sports minister speaking. Incompetent Baumia is the worst person to lead Ghana, coming from the NDC. Your resignation will rather benefit Ghana, not a reshuffle. Minority to Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo's ministerial reshuffle, insipid, uninspiring. And that's by the minority again.
So I want to read the story about the Chinese prisoner. Chinese prisoner did not escape during treatment at Korle Bu. And the story here says, management of the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital has vehemently debunked claims that a Chinese prisoner escaped during treatment at the hospital. The Chinese national, who was serving a 1-year sentence at Nsawam prison for theft and other serious offenses, had escaped. The incident occurred after the individual allegedly feigned illness and was subsequently transferred to the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital for medical attention on Wednesday, the 7th of February, 2024. Now, however, in a statement posted on its Facebook handle and signed by its head of public relations, Mustafa Salifu, the hospital explained that the prisoner left the hospital in the company of 2 prison guards. After the x-ray, and I quote, he was given a brief on the procedure to be done for him, and it was estimated to cost 606 Ghana cedis. However, he did not have sufficient funds to undergo treatment immediately and was therefore rescheduled to come back for the procedure on the 9th of February, 2024. Now, the prisoner therefore left the clinic and the hospital in the company of the 2 prison guards. We have since not set eyes on him until we heard about his escape in sections of the media. It is therefore not true that the prisoner escaped while receiving care in the hospital. Okay? And the statement is there. Let me just read that. It says here, the statement by the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital. It says here, Chinese prison inmate did not escape from Korle Bu. Point number 1. On Wednesday, 7th of February 2024, about 8 a.m., a Chinese inmate from the Nsawam prison named Wang Xiao, and 39 years of age, visited a dental clinic of Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, accompanied by 2 prison guards. Point 2. Upon arrival, we noticed that the prisoner was without handcuffs and was not rightly uniformed in the usual inmate attire. Interesting. He was processed at the registration unit and he paid a fee of 167 Ghana cedis as a non-Ghanaian. Point 4. He then proceeded to the consulting room where he was examined and an x-ray was requested to aid further management. Point 5. Wang Xiao, still unhandcuffed, together with the prison guards, proceeded to have the x-ray taken. Point 6. After the X-ray, he was given a brief on the procedure to be done for him, which was estimated to cost 606 Ghana cedis. Point 7. However, he did not have enough funds to undergo treatment immediately and was therefore rescheduled to come back for the procedure on 9th of February 2024. Point 8. The prisoner therefore left the clinic and the hospital in the company of the 2 prison guards. We have therefore not set eyes on him until we heard about his escape in sections of the media. All right, and then it's signed there by Mustafa Salifu, the head of public relations for the hospital. So that's what we have. A very interesting times.
Telling you.
Yeah, and so the story broke and said he's escaped from the hospital, but these are the details that the hospital is giving us now.
Well, I'm glad that the hospital also has responded. Have responded, and not just responded, but put everything in
down.
Points.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No confusion here. No confusion here. Yeah. Well, there's a bit also on the expenditure on AFCON.
Right.
The 3 million expenditure on AFCON. Do you have one you want to read? Okay, let me just do I'll do the expenditure on AFCON. We spent 3 million on AFCON 2023. This is a sports minister speaking. Now, the Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Yusuf, has revealed that 3 million was spent for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, AFCON. Speaking on the floor of Parliament in Accra on Wednesday, Mr. Yusuf said the amount was out of a total of 5,707,840 Ghana cedis, 36 pesos, released by the Ministry of Finance. According to him, a surplus of 2,177,720 and 55 pesos was left after the Black Stars' exit from the tournament in the group stage. Mr. Speaker, and I quote, our estimated budget for the AFCON tournament was 8.5 million, estimate, to cater for the pre-tournament stages. That is our pre-camping stage. That's our pre-camping stage, sorry. The tournament stage, that is the group stages, and also the round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. Ghana's estimated budget would have been 8.5. Well, let me just give you the specifics. 8,506,450. Right. So it goes out of this amount, an amount of 7,840 US dollars was released by the Ministry of Finance, of which 7,067 dollars was spent on the team's pre-camping in Kumasi. This resulted in a surplus of 2,177,720 US dollars after our early exit from the tournament, he stated. I'm just wondering, just off the top of my head, you spend, I think it was a week, camping in Kumasi. Yeah. How do you spend 3 million?
Well,
3 million US dollars. You see, if you don't think about it in those terms, you may maybe not appreciate it fully. But 3 million US dollars is a minimum of times 12, right? So that's 48 million Ghana cedis. That's about almost 50 million cedis spent in 1 week. How? On what? I think we need to get further and better particulars.
True.
Yeah. No, we don't want a case of, we bought coconuts and the coconut was 3,000, each. Those type of things. Those kind of stories.
Or maybe those also included the kits.
No, but all those things are already taken care of.
Okay.
The expenditure is it says pre-camping stage, and they went to Kumasi. Pre-tournament. So they went to Kumasi. No, they didn't go to South Africa. They were in Kumasi.
I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate.
I know. And maybe that's what you should, but, I think that it's very unfortunate. Anyway, it's time for Sports Review. Don't go anywhere. right, now on the sports review segment this morning, let's take a look at what we have. Now, there's the Save Ghana Football. Now, that was the demonstration that took place yesterday. Thousands of people marched on the streets of Accra yesterday in the hashtag Save Ghana Football demonstration to call for major reforms in the administration of the country's football. Now, the demonstration brought together sports journalists and football fans who wanted to let out their frustrations over the poor performances of the country's national teams in recent times. The demonstrators held several placards that spoke to their various concerns in relation to Ghana football. Despite an initial agreement for the demonstrators to make stops at the Ghana Football Association, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and Parliament, the police ordered the group to end its march at the Independence Square. The conveners then sent a 15-point petition to the precincts of Parliament, where it was received by a group of MPs from both the majority and minority sides. Now, some Champions League news. Champions League round of 16, German giants Bayern Munich suffered a 1-0 loss to SS Lazio of Italy in last night's UEFA Champions League round of 16, a first leg played in Rome. Both teams failed to find a breakthrough in a low-quality first half, but the hosts found the mark in the 69th minute through captain Ciro Immobile. Now, he scored a penalty following a foul in the area and a red card to Dayo Upamecano. Okay, interesting names. In the other match played on the night, PSG beat Real Sociedad 2-0 in Paris. Like the game in Rome, the first half had no goals, but the tie came alive 30 minutes into the second as Kylian Mbappe scored from close range following a corner. Now, 12 minutes later, Bradley Barcola made it 2 for Paris with an individual effort. Now, in the round of 16 matches, will resume next week with the likes of Barcelona, Inter Milan, and Arsenal in action. And that's where we end the sports review for the morning.